session for all of you because in this session, we are going to deal with literary criticism and the idea of tragedy. As you all know that having the new board, I'm arranging things, I'm trying to learn new things. I'm going to teach you today the idea of tragedy. The idea of tragedy in literary criticism. Here I'm going to talk about Aristotle, I'm going to talk about the definition of tragedy, and I'll teach you a lot of other things related to these things. All I want to say is that I will sometimes go to the board, I'll sometimes go to the camera to see if the fonts are clear for all of you and you can see these things. As this is my house and I have arranged a board for all of you to have a better session, I still have to work on lights. I know some of the lights corners must be troubling you. बहुत सारी जगह पे आपको लग रहा होगा कि lights irritate कर रही है. Trust me, this is my bedroom. I also don't want all these kind of lights. Personal life or work mix हो रहा है, but still, we both are going to compromise and understand each other's condition and learn together. कुछ तुम कहो कुछ हम कहें और इसी तरह बात शुरू हो जाएगी. So today's topic is idea of tragedy in literary criticism. What is tragedy? What is the definition of tragedy? Why the people were not in support of tragedy? Why the people were in support of why they were criticizing comedy? Why they were in support of tragedy? Or why tragedy has been focused by the great Greek writers? This is the topic today. So I think we are almost ready to start. I'll take my another device because I'm also checking myself in this device so that I can see if the session is going good. I can also see the pointers. If somewhere the video starts, stops, I'll be able to see and behave accordingly. Okay. So now I'm there in front of you. अब करते हैं पढ़ाई की शुरुआत. So, my dear friends, let's talk about the first thing. We are dealing with literary criticism, idea of tragedy. This is the first topic. The point is that what is tragedy? The first thing that we understand is what is tragedy? Did you feel bad when Ravan died? Did you really feel bad? Did you feel hurt when Ravan died? When Kans died or Duryodhan died? No, we didn't feel bad. Why? Because they were villain. अगर आप villain हैं, you're supposed to die, right? You are killed by the hero. So first of all, the most important and the basic point of the tragedy is that the tragedy is not connected to the villain or the person who is the antagonist. Tragedy is connected to the hero. Hero means a good man who is in the ideal figure. Now, according to Aristotle, as we are going for the next slide, it's better to go for the next slide. According to Aristotle, tragedy should have some standards because tragedy is the truth. Aristotle says tragedy is above than epic, philosophy, poetry, history, maths. Now see this thing. According to Aristotle, the tragedy is better than philosophy, epic, poetry, history, maths. These lines are helping me to understand that okay, I don't have to write here and there. You can see these things. So, tragedy is better than epic. Why? Better than philosophy. Why? Better than poetry. Better than history. Better than maths. A tragedy is a real thing. Now, let's try to understand this point. What is philosophy? What is philosophy? Many of you will say that philosophy is the good thing, the philosophy is the real thing. But do you know that the philosophy itself is contextual? Philosophy अपने आप में भी trustworthy नहीं है. Philosophy cannot be trusted. Philosophy is not trustworthy. There are great philosophers. Aristotle, Plato, they themselves are the philosophers. Socrates was a philosopher. Epicurus was a philosopher. Along with these things, in Indian philosophy, Nagarjuna, he gave us the Sunya Siddhant, Shunyavad. Then Aryabhat dealing with the concept of zero. Or we have the philosophers like Rishi Charvak. Rishi Charvak said, Udhar lo, ghee piyo and live your life. Charvak philosophy was that borrow money, live your life like king style, and enjoy. Life is momentary. Why do we have multiple kind of philosophies? अजगर करे न चाकरी, पंछी करे न काम, दास मलुका कह गए, सबके दाता राम. This is also a philosophy. Guru Nanak Dev ji said, नानक नन्हे ही रहो जैसी नन्ही धूप और रूप सूख जाएंगे धूप खूब की खूब. That is also philosophy. नानक जी कह रहे हैं हमेशा छोटे, साधारण और एक जैसे छोटी घास होती है वैसे बन के रहो, क्योंकि बड़े बड़े दरख्त सब सूख जाएंगे लेकिन घास ऐसी ही रहेगी. मनोहर राणा जी कहते हैं बड़ी ऊंची इमारत हर घड़ी खतरे में रहती है. कुछ लोग ये कहते हैं जहां यूनिसिस की फिलॉसफी है, awake, arise, check things, fight back, it's not never too late to seek a new world. Milton in Paradise Lost, Saturn की फिलॉसफी क्या है? Awake, arise or be forever fallen. Keep fighting, keep struggling, let's do something. Technically, philosophy trusted नहीं है. Philosophy cannot be trusted. I ask you this thing. Let's make it easy in Vineet Pandey style. It is a good philosophy that one should not be greedy, one should not try to snatch things from others, one should always be happy and contented with whatever he has, and one should always avoid asking things, right? It is a philosophy. Lie low, live a simple life. Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy, simple living, great thinking. Tell me this thing, can I teach this simple living, great thinking to a man who is hungry? वो आदमी जिसको 4 दिन से खाना नहीं मिला है, उसको मैं जाके सिखाऊं कि मर जाना लेकिन किसी से मांगना नहीं, वो मानेगा मेरी फिलॉसफी? नहीं मानेगा. If I go to the criminals and I tell them that please don't do crime, live a happy life, they will not listen. वो क्या बोलेंगे? Our philosophy is that might is right. So in short, philosophies are contextual. If you are happy, if you are rich, if you are healthy, you will say that money is not everything. Tell me, like this video if you understand. इस वीडियो को लाइक करना अगर ये मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है. वो कौन से लोग होते हैं जो कहते हैं money is not everything? Who are those people who say that money is not everything? The people who don't have money or the people who have enough money? कौन से लोग जिसके पास पैसा है, 2 करोड़ बैंक में रख के बैठा है, those who already have a proper bank balance, they say, see my dear friend, money is not everything. You know, you can never buy love. Money is not everything, my dear friend. Ask this man from a slum dweller, बेचारा जो रिक्शा चलाता है, 2-3 लोगों को बिठा के रिक्शा खींचता है, उसको बोलो सर मनी इज नॉट एवरीथिंग, वो बोलेगा सर मनी ही हमारे लिए सब कुछ है. So the philosophies are contextual, so not trusted. Epic stories. Epic stories are the narration, the heroic narration of the tragic things. Heroic means fake, elaborated. हम हीरोज की कहानी पढ़ते हैं, that is elaborated version, unnecessary description, unnecessary narration. Epics make reality false. So epic भी trusted नहीं होता. Epic gone. Poetry. Poetry is full of imagination. Imagination itself is not trusted. Imagination is not real. कल्पनाओं में, how many of you have read Wordsworth, Daffodils? You have read Daffodils, Wordsworth, right? All the students who are watching this for first time, I'm Vineet Pandey, ex-assistant professor, University of Delhi, 10-time net. This is my identity, the social identity. I have read Wordsworth's Daffodils. You must have read Wordsworth Daffodils. How many of you actually could feel the emotion of daffodils? Close your eyes. आंखें बंद करो. Close your eyes and feel the flower, the daffodil flower. Feel it. Where Wordsworth says, when oft in my coach I lie, in pensive mood they flash upon my inward eye, and which is the bliss of solitude, and my heart dances with daffodils. आंखें बंद करो, close your eyes and try to feel that daffodil flower. Did you do that? Your teacher must have taught you daffodils in a proper way. Have you seen daffodil? Do you know how daffodil looks? In India, daffodil is not available. It is exceptionally available in Kashmir in certain valleys. Point is, 99% people who are reading literature, exception of one, they don't know what is daffodil. तो daffodil तो पता ही नहीं आपको. Then how can you imagine daffodil? Yes, sir, we are imagining. You are imagining rose, you are imagining lotus, you are imagining lily because you have not seen daffodil. When you have not seen daffodil, how can you feel the poet? So, poetry is imagination, not trusted at all. Now comes history. The Indian critic, the Indian foreigner critic, Lane Poole, just taking a reference. In Indian history, Lane Poole is an important person. Lane Poole has clearly stated this thing. I was preparing for combined defense services, so I used to study Indian history. Lane Poole has written this thing that Indian history cannot be trusted because it is written on the point of the sword. तलवार की धार से, तलवार की नोक से लिखवाया गया है. भारतीय इतिहास ट्रस्ट नहीं किया जा सकता क्योंकि तलवार की नोक पे लिखवाया गया है. What does he want to say? He wants to say that the historical details cannot be trusted. Why? Is it possible for a person to write and criticize the king? Is it possible for a person to criticize the king and live in the same kingdom? Now we have democracy, now we have police to protect us, now we have courts, high court, but still, you see that if journalists try to say something, they are imprisoned, they are beaten up, they are killed. So imagine when they were kings. How far do you agree that yes sir, it is not possible to openly criticize the king? आप राजा के बारे में लिख सकते थे कि राजा जो है वो सुबह सुबह गुटखा खाता है और दिन भर नाच देखता है, किसी लायक नहीं. Indian history इसलिए ट्रस्ट नहीं की जाती, especially written by the Indians. No offense to anyone, but do you know that Prithviraj Raso, written by Chandra Vardai, says that Prithviraj killed Muhammad Ghori? But that is not true. It is not true. Why? Because Prithviraj Raso. What is the story? Story is that Prithviraj got defeated in the battle of Tarain. Muhammad Ghori attacked in the night, defeated Prithviraj Chauhan, made him blind, andha bana diya. Chandra Vardai, the warrior friend, the warrior poet, the cavalier poet, he goes to Muhammad Ghori and says that, sir, do you know Prithviraj Chauhan is a great archer? Dhanush Baan बहुत अच्छा चलाता है. And even being blind without his eyes, he can shoot anything he wants with the sound only, sound directions. Muhammad Ghori says, I want to see that. I want to see this talent. So, gathering is arranged. Muhammad Ghori is sitting like a king at a heighted place. Okay, the ground is there. Thousands of people have come to see the miracle. And Prithviraj Chauhan, being blind, he has a bow and arrow. Chandra Vardai goes to meet him, hug him, and whispers in his ear. और Chandra Vardai उनके कान में जाके बोलते हैं, 4 बांस 24 गज अंगुल अष्ट प्रवान ता ऊपर सुल्तान है मच्चू के चौहान. He gives the direction of Muhammad Ghori. He whispers in his ear the direction of Muhammad Ghori. 4 बांस 4 bamboos 24 गज 24 yards. अंगुल अष्ट प्रवान 8 उंगलियों का कोण. The angle is 8. अंगुल अष्ट प्रवान ता ऊपर सुल्तान है. There is Muhammad Ghori. मत चूके चौहान. Don't miss this chance. He shoots, he is killed. Then the edited version says that he was about to shoot, but there was some bell in the neck of the elephant, so he shot the elephant. But the reality is different. Reality is that Prithviraj Chauhan was killed by Muhammad Ghori. His grave is in Afghanistan. Now, point to be noted. This is what Vineet Pandey is. GK, current affair and literature. The man who shot Fulan Devi dead at her residence, Sher Singh Rana, he broke the prison Tihar and ran away in 2004. Sher Singh Rana, when he was trying to get back to India from the Nepal border, he was caught by the police. When the police recovered his luggage, police found that he was having a particular pot. When Sher Singh Rana was questioned about this thing, he said, this is the soil from the grave of Prithviraj Chauhan. I heard the story in Tihar that Prithviraj Chauhan's grave, it is being humiliated in Pakistan. I wanted to bring the glory of India back. That is the reality. Yes, the grave is there. So the message is that histories cannot be trusted. No king will leave you if you write against them. Then comes maths. Maths is not important. He says maths can be trusted, but math is not important. Why it is not important? Because to have a better society, to have a humanitarian lifestyle, we need philosophy, literature, life, music, poetry. Math is only for the smart brains, but for calculations, for business purposes. In, in love, in affection, there is no maths. When your mother loves you as a kid, there is no maths, right? So Aristotle actually proves that the tragedy is the most superior thing. Tragedy is the most superior thing. So if they ask you a question in assertion and reason, tragedy is the most superior thing. Now the second point that you have to understand here, Aristotle has written Poetics, one of the greatest work. In Poetics, there are 26 chapters. Out of these 26 chapters, chapter 6 to 19, chapter 6 to 19, total 14 chapters are dedicated to tragedy. 14 chapters dedicated to tragedy. Those who are online student, in the video lecture, I have given you the detail of the all 26 chapters. What is chapter 1, what is chapter 5, 6 to 19, then chapter 20 to 22, then 23, 24, 25, and the last chapter. You have the complete detail in the online course. Now, see this point. Here he talks about tragedy, and in these 14 chapters exclusively, he proves that tragedy is not only superior than these things, tragedy is also superior and better than comedy. And here he goes for the definition. He says this thing that comedy is inferior in front of tragedy. Why comedy is not good? There was a great Greek writer writing comedy. Aristophanes was writing comedy at that time. Tragedy was written by Sophocles. They are the great Greek writers. Please write down these names. Normally teachers don't teach these Greek writers. Sophocles, Aeschylus, Euripides. Whenever they talk about great Greek tragedy writers, go for these things. If they talk about the comedians, then we have Terence, Plautus and others. Primarily, he is one of the greatest comedians from Greek. They are the greatest tragedy writers from Greece. So they are all great Greek writers. Now the point is, why comedy is not good? So the point is, which is better? What do you want to watch? जब आप देखने जाते हो मूवी, आप ट्रेजेडी देखना चाहते हो कि कॉमेडी देखना चाहते हो? Do you want to watch tragedy? Do you want to watch comedy? You will say, sir, comedy is better. We laugh, our heart gets light, we are relaxed, comic relief is there. So we want to go for comedy, right? Here Aristotle has a philosophy. The great Greek writers simply believed in this thing that the comedy is not good for the ideal society. Why comedy is not good for ideal society? Think about it. Tragedy is good for ideal society. Tragedy is really good. Comedy is baseless. Why so? Tell me. I want to see how many of you are live there. 79 students like live, 72 likes. Good. I hope you're enjoying. Those who learn literature, those who want to love literature, learn literature. This is Vineet Pandey's style. I've taught in University of Delhi, so this is my style. My GK, my jokes, my narration. Ideal society, comedy. Comedy separates us. How? Now think about this thing. Do you know any comedy which doesn't hurt somebody's emotions, somebody's sentiments, somebody's physical condition, somebody's financial condition, or something like that? Give me the idea of any comedy where nobody gets hurt. You can write in the comments also. Any comedy where nobody gets hurt. In Hindi and Sanskrit philosophy, the violence can be done in three ways. I love Hindi literature. I teach English literature, but I know English literature is nothing in front of Hindi literature, Sanskrit literature, Urdu, Arabic literature. English literature is nothing. The problem is that Indian literature, Hindi literature, Sanskrit literature, or the literature in other languages, Tamil literature, people are not respecting it. We are running after English people. That is called Anglophilia, fascination with English. In our system, it is mentioned this thing that the violence can be done in three ways. Three ways of violence. Mansa, vacha, karmana. Man se, vachan se, karmo se. So what is mansa vacha karmana? You are cursing somebody in your mind. Your mind hates somebody. You are doing the violence. This is from your mind. This is from your mansa. Vacha, vachan, speaking. You spoke some bad words. You abuse somebody. You curse somebody. That is the violence by vachan, by speaking. Karmana, action. The violence by action. You killed someone, shot someone, stabbed someone. So the violence is like mansa, vacha, karmana. From your mind, from your emotions, mentally, from your words, from your actions. If you're hurting someone. So tell me this thing. Find out one comedy where nobody gets hurt by man, by vachan, by karma. Tell me, one comedy where nobody gets hurt. Most of the comedies are making satires. You are laughing at somebody's physical deformity. किसी को मोटा बोल दिया, किसी को नाटा बोल दिया, किसी को काला बोल दिया. Laughing at somebody's color. Oi kallu, kalia. What is that? This is disgusting. Oi mote. या किसी का नाम मोटू रख दिया, या किसी का नाम छोट. The point is that even if you are calling these names in a light mode, you want to laugh, you want to make happy things, it is actually hurting someone. कोई मोटा अपने आप को मोटा सुनना चाहता है क्या? Is there any fat man who wants to hear these words? Oh fatty, no, right? Any man who thinks that his color is not white, does he want to hear the other words like that? The color segregation, these kind of things? Now, in our schools, in our colleges, when we have group of 4 friends, 5 friends, normally we start attacking one friend. किसी एक को attack करते हैं. That friend doesn't like. We are making mockery, but the friend person doesn't like. If somebody slipped, fell down, you are laughing at. Somebody got failed in exam, you are laughing at. Technically, the comedy is that we are laughing at the frailties of human life. We are laughing at the weakness of human life. We are getting separated. If you make fun of your friend, don't you think your friend is hurt inside though he doesn't speak? आप किसी friend को बार बार बोलोगे that you are duffer, you are dumb, you have no idea, you are senseless, your IQ is 0. The friend is not going to like that, right? Soon you are losing your friendship. You are going to lose your friendship. That's what he says. Comedy separates us. We don't want it. Tragedy is the reality. The ultimate truth of the life is tragedy, because the end of life will come with death. The ultimate end of life is death. जब मरना ही है, तो सबसे बड़ी चीज क्या है? The only truth which is inevitable, which cannot be postponed, which cannot be procrastinated, something which is imminent, something which is going to happen, that's death. तो जब death खुद ही confirm है, so that's tragedy. What is the reality? Tragedy. The sense of loss. You are in life, you lose people. You are in life, every day you have to suffer. You understand it's not easy to survive. Tragedy connects you. Tragedy connects you. Comedy separates you. Two friends preparing for the same exam, और जब दोनों फेल हो जाते हैं तो दोस्ती मजबूत हो जाती है. Do you agree with this thing? Two friends attempting the exam, they both fail. Friendship becomes stronger. You know why? Because they both have pain. They need each other's hand. So in the pain of each other, they are facing the same thing. They have empathy and sympathy for each other, and the friendship becomes better. Tragedy makes us connected. We realize that we are all together. People in problem. You must have seen in societies. In societies, when the water doesn't, when the water supply is blocked, all the residents together, they go and protest because their tragedy, their pain connected them, united them. So the tragedy connects. Now, before we go for the next point, please remember, this is the extra knowledge for all of you. This is the extra knowledge for all of you. So please remember the point. The great rivalry. If they say that who are the great Greek writers who had rivalry, कौन से दो writers की आपस में टक्कर होती थी? They used to attack each other. What to read for NET exam? Frogs, wasp, clouds. In online classes, video lecture में आपको सब पढ़ाया हुआ मिलेगा. You will have the details. These are the important works. Those who are not in online class, read frogs, wasp, and clouds. And for Euripides, read media. This is very important media. Euripides media, you have to read that. And all the students who are going to study fourth wave feminism in the feminist lecture, जब आपको literary theory पढ़ाऊंगा, online students आपको ये पढ़ाऊंगा. This is very important. Lysistrata, the book that deals with the first sex war. This is very important. Lysistrata. All the new students who are not the part of online batches, you can read it, but read Lysistrata not as a story. Read it from feminist point of view. The first sex war, right? This is very important thing. Now, we go for the definition of tragedy and then the other things. The definition of tragedy by Aristotle is, tragedy is an imitation, not of persons and places, but of life and action. You can write down this thing like this. Tragedy is an imitation. Tragedy is an imitation, not of persons and places. This is how I teach in my offline classes. Not of persons and places, but of life and actions. But of life and actions. if you're thinking that ऐसे पढ़ने से एग्जाम क्वालिफाई होगा या नहीं होगा, I must tell you, this is 10 net. If it's visible here. So make sure remember that this is how I read. Tragedy is an imitation not of persons and places but of life and actions, which is serious, complete, and has certain magnitude. Please write down the definition, it's very important. You have to mug it up. In my offline class, I teach the students and I tell them mug it up. I go to my class and I ask people, you stand up, tell me the definition. This question has been asked 7 to 8 times and approx 4 to 5 times. The question has been asked in a tricky way. ये definition बहुत important है. Tragedy is an imitation not of persons and places but of life and actions, which is really serious, complete, and has certain magnitude in a language embellished with embellished with certain, okay, some words got mixed, merged, deleted, certain magnitude, in a language embellished with each kind of I want to see if you can see the definitions. Okay, each kind of. Now going for the next slide. Tragedy is an imitation not of persons and places but of life and actions, which is serious, complete, and has a certain magnitude in a language embellished with each kind of, next page, artistic ornament. Each kind of artistic ornament. Being found in the several parts of the play. Being found in the several parts of the play. Several parts of the play. Not in the form of narrative. Not in the form of narrative. Not in the form of narrative. But in the form of action. But in the form of action. Not in the form of narrative, but in the form of action. Being several parts of the play, not in the form of narrative, but in the form of action. Arising pity, fear, and proper purgation. complete definition of tragedy. I don't believe in reading and then teaching. This is on my fingertips. You have to do that. Do you want to know how 10 times net I've qualified? Because I've prepared myself with each and everything. बहुत पढ़ना पड़ता है, but yes, one day you will have the tips, things on your fingertips. You're going to be the teachers, right? Double GRF करना है ना मेरी तरफ. So double GRF करना है, तो let's go for the definition and understand. Now, we are going to understand this thing. The first thing, my dear friends, tragedy is an imitation. So first of all, the idea of Plato, that everything is imitation. So Plato's idea is that tragedy is also an imitation. What is a tragedy? Tragedy is performing the life on the stage. So you want to show a story that is the story of the life, but when you show the life story on the stage, you must bring the reality. जैसे रोमियो जूलियट की जो कहानी है, what if Romeo and Juliet were real? Or let's take the reference of Ramayana. Ramayana actually happened, right? So when Ramlila is played, people try to take the reference, lines, quotations and sound. Ravan speaks like Ravan. Hanumanji speaks like Hanuman. So the imitation of the real story on the stage. So what is drama? What is tragedy? Tragedy is an imitation of life on the stage. So first of all, it's an imitation. Second important thing, not of persons and places. My dear friends, this is not the important thing that okay, who is the hero or which story. It is not important that it is the story of Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet can be changed. What is important? True love. It is not important that Hamlet's name is there. Hamlet had family issues. Who doesn't have family issues? So name is not important. Not places, persons and places. Places are not also important. The opening line of Hamlet, a guard speaks, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Denmark is not important. What's happening that is important means you, me, the names are not important. Remember what Shakespeare said? What's there in the name, right? So ना तो किसी आदमी की कहानी है, ना किसी जगह की कहानी है, ना तो आदमी से मतलब है, ना जगह से मतलब है. मतलब है लाइफ से, जीवन and actions. Life has love stories, yes. Life has tragedies, yes. Life has domestic tragedy, failure in life, family feud, brother killing brother, sacrifices. In short, these are common things. So people are not important. What is important? The story. What is that is connected to life? Life is important. Then what is important? Actions. What were the actions of the people? What they were doing? Why they become the subject of tragedy? If I tell you a boy failed in NET exam because he was not studying at all, will you say, no sir, we want to know the name? No. You will say, sir, we don't know or want to know about the name. Tell about the errors, mistakes that he did. हमें गलतियां बताओ, actions बताओ. Because it doesn't matter Ram fail हो रहा है कि Rahim fail हो रहा है. What matters कि fail क्यों हो रहा है. So life and actions. It is the story of life and actions. Now the important thing. It should be serious, it should be complete and has certain magnitude. मतलब standard होना चाहिए. It should be standard. They are great Greek writers. They said tragedy should have some standard. So it is not an ordinary story that okay, you bought an ice cream and you were about to lick the ice cream, it fell down, it is tragedy. या तुमने किसी को लिखा हेलो हाय नाइस डीपी, उसने ब्लॉक कर दिया, so you are having romantic tragedy. ऐसा नहीं है. Remember the movie Rockstar? Rockstar movie, if you remember, Ranveer Kapoor wants to be a singer. One of his friends says that when you have a heartbreak, then only you become the singer. He goes to a girl and says, please insult me, please insult me. The girl insults and then says, oh, I'm heartbroken. That is not tragedy. It should be serious, complete, and magnitude means some standard, certain magnitude. Tragedy should be a tragedy, clear ka style. One mistake, two daughters deceived the father, third good daughter got expelled. Something serious. Othello, he didn't trust his wife, killed his wife. Something serious. Now, in a language, now he talks about the diction part. That here, the language diction, because Greeks people believed in this thing that a great expression should be there. In online classes, I have taught great expression, I have taught diction theory, correction, selection, arrangement. So I'm sure the students can relate. language embellished with each kind of artistic ornament. So he says एक language में लिखो. First of all, content series complete certain magnitude, then your language. Now you want to write in a language. So what should be your language? Embellished with each kind of artistic ornament. What is artistic ornament? Literary devices. What is artistic ornament? Literary devices. Your literary devices should be there. Plus remember this thing, being found in the several parts of the play. Literary devices should be properly used. This is what Horace calls decorum. Online students, lecture of Horace याद करो. Decorum बोलता है Horace इसको. Means you are going to use literary devices, so use them in proper way. Opening scene, ending scene, between. It should not be like that. That okay, in the opening scene you have a lot of literary devices. Other scenes you don't have literary devices. So they should be being found in the several parts of the play. Opening line, happy things and all, good things. Ending, you may have chorus, you may have endings. Then, not in the form of narrative. We don't have to narrate the literary devices. That okay, here we have pun, here we have simile, here we have metaphor. Introduction नहीं चाहिए. Use करना है. Means they should not be in the form of narrative, but in the form of actions. Means literary devices should be employed, should be used. Readers should feel that okay, literary device is there. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that writer is mentioning okay, this is pun. So when you're reading the statement, please try to understand this is pun. Not in the way of narration, in the way which is used, right? Suppose Govinda makes a joke in the Bollywood movie and a director comes on stage and talks to you. Haso, haso, joke mara hai. Govinda has cracked the joke, laugh. Means literary devices, puns, metonymies, synecdoche, they should not be narrated, defined in a definition way. They should be used. People should feel that. Arising, pity, fear, and proper purgation. What is the target now? Using literary devices, what is the target? Arising, pity, fear, and proper purgation. Now, what is pity, fear, and proper purgation? Pity, fear, and purgation. Please remember this point. Purgation has been called catharsis. जैसे catharsis बोलते हैं. Catharsis. Pity. Your hero has tragedy. You feel bad for King Lear. King Lear got deceived by the daughters. You feel bad. Old man, father, deceived by daughter. You have your heart, you have your emotions. So invoking your emotion, you have pity for the hero. Then fear. The future of hero. Now you are scared what is going to happen next. Remember? When our heroine, she is walking and it is a horror movie and we know the ghost is hidden in the closet. So what do we say? No, oh my god, don't go to. मन में आता है ना कि अब कुछ होने वाला है. Our hero should be safe. Our heroine should be safe. That is fear about the future. You care. And then purgation. Purgation comes at the end of the story where you realize that tragedy is the part of life and you must get purgated. Please remember, the catharsis portion has not been narrated by Aristotle. The portion of catharsis is narrated by the critics. The critics studied purgation idea and they have talked about purgation. Aristotle uses the word catharsis but does not define this thing. Catharsis has three stages. Again, online student, you have this lecture, clarification, detailed lecture आपको जो मिला हुआ है, clarification, purification, and then comes the third stage, purgation. These are the stages. Now, in my second part of this lecture, we will go for the details of catharsis, hamartia, peripecia, other things. In my coming lecture, we will deal with catharsis, peripecia, anagnorisis, hubris, and some other things. We will also go for these things. Now, Whew. So this is the digital board lecture. This is arranged in my house. I really wanted to have this beast. मुझे चाहिए था ताकि मैं घर से भी बहुत अच्छा पढ़ा सकूं. और अब चूंकि नई पावर हाथ में आ गई तो हम यहाँ सब कुछ पढ़ने वाले हैं. All my new students who are watching this, अगर आपको यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ दिल्ली स्टैंडर्ड पढ़ना है, आपको लगता है कि आपका फ्यूचर, आपका एग्जाम, उसकी प्रिपरेशन अगर आपको यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ दिल्ली स्टाइल पढ़ना है, I have taught in University of Delhi 3 years, 3 साल. So this is the reason that it became easy for me to qualify my multiple NET, because in Delhi University we used to deal with all the latest trends in literature. 10 NET, 2 JRF, multiple set, multiple gate. All I want to say, if you want to join the classes, many of you sometimes call and ask how to join. Crash course for December 2023 starts 1st November. 1st November. You will get video lectures, you will get regular live classes like this, paper solutions and everything. If you want to join crash course and full course, which is free from January 2024 to June 2024, then join the crash course before 10th November. 10th November last date है. Last date. इसके बाद ज्वाइनिंग नहीं मिलेगी, ऑफर नहीं मिलेगा. You join crash course, आपको full course next session 6 months free मिलेगा crash course के साथ. But the last date is 10th November. तो आप इसको ज्वाइन कर सकते हो. What to do? This is my number. If you want to talk to me, normally I reply WhatsApp only. Calls are not possible for me. This is my number. You can WhatsApp me here and you can join. Now, if you are an old online batch student, if you are our old online batch student, so you have to go for renewal batch. If you are our old online batch student, repeating once again, renewal batch. But make sure that you are old student, because you will not get proper net classes. You will get advanced level lectures. Renewal batch. If you join renewal batch, you will also get full course. June 2024, January 2024 to June 2024. अगर आप old student हैं, old means 2018, 19, 20, any. If you are old student, you can join renewal batch. You will get full course free. Means your membership, we will teach you for December 2023 so that you qualify, and your membership, it will be validated for next 6 months for full course. Again, same thing for all of you. अगर इसी तरीके से पढ़ना है और अपने नेट जीआरएफ को टारगेट करना है, so this is the time. Thank you so much for joining me live. Thank you.